My mom these days, like when she calls, she's always like, can I see Milana? Can I see Milana? And I'm like, do you want to see me though? Like, here's me. This is what I look like today. And that's the ironic part, right? Like, I feel like post-birth is when a mother needs the most support, and it's when we get the least support.
This series is called Motherhood With You. We're bringing mothers together to have honest conversations and say the things that usually go unsaid. We'll hear from women just beginning this journey, women whose kids are pulling away, and women figuring out who they are once the kids are out of the home. Has your idea of motherhood changed since getting pregnant or having your child? 3, 2, 1. All yeses. Okay, so I want to hear about how this idea of motherhood has changed.
Last year, I kind of had a miscarriage, or no, 2 years ago, I'm sorry. So after that, we were like, okay, maybe it's not meant to be. And so I was like, okay, I'm okay with being the cool aunt. You know, like I'll spoil all my nieces and nephews and stuff like that. But then I got pregnant after. And so I was just really excited, and I realized, you know what, I really do want to become a mom now. And now, like after being a mother for 14 months, it's been like the most beautiful thing. Like I didn't even expect to get like a little bit emotional, but yeah, it's the most like fulfilling job I've ever had. So
I was with my ex-partner for 11 years, and we had divorced last year. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just not meant to be a mom. I'm already in my 30s, until I met my current partner, and then I had an unplanned pregnancy. And I was still debating at that point, like, should I keep the baby? And then around the same time that I was going for like scans, I had also found out that I was diagnosed with early stages of cervical cancer. So then I had to get a hysterectomy. What changed in me was like, is the baby gonna be okay? Like, is the baby gonna be fine? Like, I can't be a mom ever after this. So I think at that point I was like, I wanna be a mom. I wanna raise a baby. I wanna have a mini me. For me, that changed the way I view motherhood of like, I'm gonna go through this, like I'm gonna wait out on like the surgery and just like have the baby.
I did not realize how much my friendships would change when I began to have kids. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry, I had to think about it. You know, it can get really lonely, and like nobody, I feel like, prepares you for that.
No.
There are people that you think are gonna show up, don't show up. So as an adult, I like what I think overcompensated, where like I would show up above and beyond for my friends. You know, I'm trying to build like a village, right? Like they call it. And like, I didn't get invited to baby showers. I'm not getting invited to special things. And I'm like, oh. And it was like, okay, well, I mean, that's just clarity. Like, that's just like, okay, thank you for clearing that up.
I feel like a lot of times, I know I didn't expect that as a mom coming into motherhood. No one tells you that in the preparation book, that your friendships could change. And I feel like as women, we hold our relationships very dear to us. And so when they shift, it's hard.
I've been with my therapist for almost 5 years now. And I mean, she's just amazing. But one of the things that we noticed was a common like thread through my whole life. I just got very used to like quieting my inner voice and my intuition, and suppressing like emotions or suppressing what I was really feeling, because, you know, my parents were like, they didn't allow it. Like, they couldn't handle my opinions or my emotions, or like if I did something different. Now that I'm a mom, I'm like, I don't want my child to feel that way, because I want my kids to be like comfortable with who they are and be able to express themselves without fear of like judgment or, you know, abuse or whatever.
It's great that you're gonna model that in real time for your kids, so that from early on, they're gonna know, oh, I can say this, I can speak up, I can voice how I'm feeling, because so often children do get silence of, it's not okay, like, shh, I don't wanna hear what you have to say. So I'm glad that you're like, okay, it took me a while to learn it, but I'm here now, family rule, everyone's speaking up.
I guess because it's my first kid and I don't have the responsibilities yet, and I've had a very easy pregnancy, I'm still meeting my friends up, going to the beach whenever I want, and you know, my lifestyle hasn't really changed a whole lot, because like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do all the things that like I wouldn't be able to do now that I'm pregnant. So for me, I don't really see a huge change. I have supportive friends.
So does it surprise you that everyone else had yes?
Yeah, it does. That's why I was like, wait, why is everyone saying yes? I want to say no. And I was like, stick to your guns, girl. Just say no.
I have lived in LA for a while, like 5 years, so I feel like my LA friends are supportive. But I'm originally from San Diego, so I do have a group of friends there that I grew up with. But I think because a lot of them are very traditional, like get married, have kids, and then like with my divorce and everything, they were just kind of like, whoa, like you're giving into like the statistics of like brown women kind of thing. Because like I did so much work in therapy, it would have been easy for me to kind of fall into that like fall into people's critiques and judgments. A lot of like the culture now will like demean baby mamas, baby daddies. They'll use that as an insult. Yeah. And like for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna take it as an insult. My accomplishments will always be my accomplishments, and now being a mom is the new milestone for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be less than a person I was before I like became a mom.
That's hard. As a therapist, the moms that I work with, a lot of times when we start, like when they're newly pregnant, we do a friendship audit because every friend is not gonna make it to the finish line. And some friends you have to be like, all right, are you an inner circle friend or do I just need you to be kind of like on the outskirts? They say it takes a village to prepare for motherhood, and I have found a strong village for myself. 3, 2, 1. Do we have some strong villages? Okay, we're split. We're split. All right.
There's like a no couch and a yes
Right,
couch.
and a yes couch. I'm gonna start with my no couch.
I moved to Houston like right after my daughter was born. For me, it was like, I'm trying to stay alive. Like real talk, like I didn't go through postpartum depression or anything like that, thankfully, you know, but I had to figure it out a lot because my husband, he as soon as he got there, it was about work. It was about, okay, I'm paying the bills, I'm taking care of our home and everything. And I'm like, I appreciate that. But this baby's crying. What am I supposed to do? So like, there would be times when I would just start crying because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I wish my mom could visit or something like that. And so I'm like, the person that I feel like I need the most, she won't take a 3-hour drive. It can seem inconvenient for us to spend time with other people or show up for the people that we say we love, but that's what community and having a village is about. I was feeling a way about that because I'm like, I showed up for you guys. Where is that same thing for me? But when I look at my registry, even for my son and for my daughter, I think people really, like, they did show up. They showed their support for our family in the way that they could. They
In their
might not
capacity.
they might not have been able to make it because everybody has their own life and certain things that are going on that we have no clue about. Instead of looking at what I don't have, I acknowledge what I do and be grateful for that and make space for that. My mindset is I decided to have this baby. I have to assume the responsibility for it. It would be nice to have those things, but I can't necessarily expect everybody to show up in the way that I want them to.
My parents, I feel like their love and support was so loud. I didn't even notice the people who chose not to be in my village, which is crazy because they were the ones who I was afraid to tell that I was pregnant. But as like you said, like with therapy, because I've been in therapy since 2021, my relationship with them changed throughout my time in therapy to the point where now I feel less afraid and more willing to tell them, and they just like received everything with open arms. Everyone always says that once you have a baby, you're going to be having your heart outside of your body. And I want to experience that different kind of love because I feel like sometimes my village is so strong and I understand that love and I always feel the love, and I want to feel like this kind of love, like with a baby whom I love so much, and I'm excited to see like how she's going to be when she's older. A lot of like the villages I created here in LA, like my acting school that I'm in and like my old law firm that I worked at, they've showed up like crazy too. Like they're the ones who text me like, are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you want to go do something? Things like that. My acting school, like my friends there threw me a baby shower. It's been amazing, like going through motherhood with like my friends and my parents.
Are you Filipino?
I'm Filipino.
Your parents sound like my parents. That's what, like we're very like accommodating and all about hospitality. But I think I've been very blessed as well, and I'm very grateful for my village. So my parents, first and foremost, have been like my number one supporters. They're just, they drive down an hour to come visit. So it's really nice. They're all at the house and they all spend time with Milana. And it's just like the cutest thing to watch, like all of them interact. I think communication is just the number one thing with everything, relationships, even like with your, child-mother relationship. I think just being like a safe space for them. So I think like the fact that like my therapist was also providing a safe space for me to just say what I needed and without feeling judged. I want to like raise her to just do amazing things in this world and be like a positive, valuable asset to the world, I guess.
Do you find yourself reflecting on your own relationship with your mom or parents, and how has it shaped your perspective on new motherhood? 3, 2, 1. I figured this would be 100% one. We'll start with you because you were quick. You were
Oh
ready.
my gosh, you like nailed it. Like that's been my biggest thing. Like from the moment I found out I was pregnant with my son, it was like you're like almost reliving like your childhood and all these old wounds that you thought were like healed or that you're still healing are like coming to the forefront.
My mom had put me in therapy. She might not give you the quality time and everything, but she'll like be like, hey, I'm gonna buy all of this stuff for you. That's how I show you love. And I wasn't okay with that. I wasn't okay with it, and I wasn't okay with that being the relationship that I would have with my daughter or any children that I would bring into my family that I create. My daughter, what I noticed about her, she has all of these amazing qualities that like I love, and I'm like, wait, maybe this is a part of me that's being challenged to grow. For example, we'll often go to the park, she'll be playing with other kids and everything like that. And I'm like, does this mean I have to talk to the other moms at the park? Like, do I have to say hello because our kids are playing together? Yes. I realized, okay, Liana, this means that you need to step outside of your comfort zone to put yourself out there in the same way that your daughter does. So I try not to tell her, change this, but I try to analyze it, watch it, and see how can I enhance this and help her be better with that? How can I help her use that as a tool to propel her further? You just mentioning that, the baby shower, like you said that your acting class threw you guys a baby shower, and I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm talking about I don't have a village, but there is a lot of people that supported things on the registry, like that kind of support, monetary support, like, maybe you guys can't physically show up because you guys have your own lives going on. But the fact that you guys believe in our family and support us in the way that you can, I think that's something that another layer for me to keep in mind, to be grateful for. So I appreciate what you guys said. I think after giving birth, there's like postpartum anxiety and all that stuff. And so I was like thinking of every worst scenario. And that was never me before. I was so fearless. I was so like confident in everything. But when you kind of enter motherhood, you're like, you're just completely lost, right? Like it's like brand new. I'm like we're trying to survive. I grew up with an older brother, so I'm very, very like tomboyish. I wanted to do everything he did. But my mom always reminded me like, hey, no, you're a girl. Like let's go shopping and get your nails done and your makeup when I was older, right? And so now I really appreciate that. Like I love that she did that because I can like really embrace my femininity and actually show that like women can be, beautiful and like badass and tough and brave at the same time. With my daughter, I want to raise her to be very strong and also to embrace her femininity and be confident and not be afraid to show that.
And Michelle, I love that you brought up postpartum anxiety because so many people are like, oh, it's just postpartum depression. And I'm like, no, there are so many other layers of things. And I also had postpartum anxiety myself. And I was stressed all the time. I had to work with my therapist like, what do I do? Because I don't want to leave the baby. And if I leave the baby, what's going to happen? So what kind of worked for you and your therapist to kind of put some tools in place?
So the great thing about therapy was that I was able to defined some of these feelings, right? So instead of just saying, oh my gosh, I'm stressed and overwhelmed, I was able to identify, like, this is postpartum anxiety, this is overstimulation, this is like emotional burnout. I think like once I'm able to identify and name these feelings, it's a lot easier for me to manage.
My entire life, I was either not American, but also not Indian. And it was this crazy situation where you just felt like you just didn't really belong anywhere. And my parents wanted so badly to instill Indian culture and values into me as a straight A student, someone who's gotten multiple degrees, someone who's successful, happily married to a guy that's the same religion as me. Everything that they wanted, I did. And yet I still feel like they're not proud of me. It took me going back and finding another therapist years later who actually did understand all of these things that we go through when you're basically a child of an immigrant, like parentification and all of these things that, you know, I now understand how that impacted me and how I'm going to be breaking generational cycles for my daughter going forward. But it took me going back to therapy, finding the right fit in order for me to heal those wounds. I had a conversation with my dad very recently about, like, he was joking around. My dad said, I'm pretty sure your daughter is gonna give you hell the way you gave us hell. And he was saying it jokingly, and I said, no, Dad, because I'm gonna allow her to be who she is, and I'm not gonna put my own ideas and perceptions onto her. Because I know, like, me being a good parent doesn't mean I need to tell her exactly how to live her life. And that's where the distinction lies, is like once you've gone through parenting in one way, and we're like second generation, third generation, we're able to see like how that affects a child's psyche, and we're able to think like ahead so that they don't have these negative distortions that turn into negative core beliefs that they have to work out in therapy. And that's what it means when they say breaking generational cycles. That is precisely what I want to do. I would never want my daughter to feel like she didn't belong.
Everyone talks about the baby, but no one talks about the mother. 3, 2, 1. Agree. I don't have a card, but yes. Why is that?
It's weird. Like society just like, oh, here she's got a baby. Like, oh, here they come. But then there's like a few that will, you know, like just, you know, their moms when they're like, hey mama. And like when somebody calls you mama and you're a new mom, it like is the most beautiful thing, but it's rare. And it's like, why is that rare? Why does it become a rare thing?
I feel like as women, we are taught to suppress a lot of our emotions, and having to reverse that in our own brain is actually really important for our own happiness, our own well-being.
Our needs are important too, and sometimes I feel like it just gets shut down and it's all about the baby. And I know that's the part that we don't always say out loud, but it's like, wait, if I'm good, the baby will be good.
The first thing I do when I find out like a friend of mine is having a baby, I get them like something for their postpartum experience, because I feel like that's the most tender time that we don't go into, and that's where I felt like I needed a little bit more support. And so like I'll buy them like comfy pajamas and stuff, like because you're gonna be around the house just like, and you're supposed to be in the bed around a certain time, or like.
That's so nice of you.
Yeah, and then or like the diapers, like that we have to wear diapers too, like, you know, so.
I had a moment when you were just talking, like when my son, like he had to be suctioned out twice because like he got like stuck. When I tell you the definition of like, I was like forgotten because the immediately he comes out and like, it's like, gotta get him clean, make sure he's breathing, crying, and he was like chill. And I just remember sitting there and I see her with all the instruments, the nurses are over there with the baby, my husband's over there, and I just felt so unseen in this moment of like, my body just went through war. Nobody was explaining anything to me, nobody was comforting me, and it was like a moment, like everything was just like just slowed down, and I was like, it's no longer about me. Like I felt so invisible, and I was like, I felt like I failed.
I am biased, but I feel like all moms should be able to be assigned a therapist for postpartum and in some cases beforehand, you know, going through the journey, because it's very hard and it helps when someone, number one, has been there, has experienced it themselves, can speak the language and can walk alongside you through every part of it, because it's hard and we don't get the information that we need from people. I appreciate you all for being so genuine, so honest, open with me. I really appreciate it. You know, it always warms my heart and reminds me like, okay, this is why you show up for moms.